Alright, this is probably going to be a relatively shorter show, maybe about an hour or so. Gonna wait a couple of seconds to get truly started before and see how many people pile in. I just posted it out on Twitter. Maybe people have their notifications on since I took the time to give you all that very, very valuable lesson last time, which I'm sure, absolutely everybody went and changed their settings in real time. I do want to say thank you for all of the new followers that came in. There were quite a few the past few days, and a lot of that is owed to Ralph and Zidane and Andy, all boosting the channel. So I do appreciate that. Big thank you to them. Saw the Twitter post. Is your username supposed to be I smell hate? Sounds very interesting. There's not too many topics tonight because, like I said, it's probably going to be about an hour or so. But I did want to talk a little bit, probably a little bit later on, about the so-called drama regarding all of the pearl clutching, I believe it would be a proper term, that took place on Twitter earlier today regarding the jokes that were were told last night on the kill stream and on Twitter. But before I do that, I think what I'm going to do is tell you guys a little story. Sorry, goons are in full rage mode. Yeah, guys, if you do have Twitter or anything, it would be appreciated if you share the stream and whatnot. I don't see too many people here yet, but I may have to refresh the page. Yeah, there's a lot of tribal stuff going on, but let's do the little story first, because that's fun. So this is something that I talked about on a show back when I was still streaming on YouTube. Appreciate that. I smell hate. Definitely much appreciated. So I had this friend, and when I told the story on the stream, it was because at the time I was helping him out. He had recently gone through a divorce, and of course, I could sympathize with that. It's a very tough time whenever you are with someone for a really long time. They become, an indispensable part of your life, and when you lose them, it's a tough process to get over that and grieve. And so I was understanding, I was supportive. And the story I had told on that stream was regarding, he started to get into the whole online dating thing. And he was using apps that I had never heard of before. Something called Scout, I believe it was. And so I'm probably just going to go over that again, because I'm sure some people don't know that story. And it also kind of leads into where I want to finish out, and kind of sets the stage for just how fucked up it is. So he starts talking to a bunch of women on these apps, and a lot of them, if he gets pictures from them, he gets like maybe their Facebook profile or something like that. He's sending me these photos like, oh, hey, check, this is this girl I'm talking to, check her out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at these photos, and I notice that they're all very, I don't want to say the word unrealistic simply because they are real people, but just kind of not the type you would see on a dating app That doesn't mean I believe, that attractive people can't be on those. But these are like stereotypical attractive, like Instagram model type, where the photos look too done up. So, hey, taco salad, man, it's been a long time. So, I go and just out of curiosity, I start reverse image searching these because I don't think it's something he knew how to do. And I come to find that a lot of them are like Instagram models or, porn stars, just crazy shit, complete fakes, obviously stolen photos because, the names of the people that come up from the image search are obviously different from the names that he's getting. And this is where it gets too funny and a little sad. So a lot of these women were saying, within a couple of days, I love you and I want to be with you. Crazy shit like that, way too emotional for someone that you just started talking to. And then it always turned into asking for money. But and of course that right there alone is a red flag. But the way in which they did it made it even more obvious that it was a scam. So here's what they asked for. Every time they needed something, it would be some stupid sob story like, I need help paying my cell phone bill. I'm short this month. If you help me pay it, we'll still be able to talk. Other stuff would be like, my mom is sick, so I need money for her medicine. Just wild out there shit. And the way they asked for the money is through iTunes gift cards or Amazon gift cards. Now, how stupid does one person have to be to believe that you get money, you give money to these people through these methods, and they're actually using it for the intended purpose? I mean, look, it's beyond obvious what they're doing. They're taking those gift card codes, and then they're using some sort of platform to flip them and sell them for cash. And the reason they do it that way is because it's a gift card code. It's not really traceable. Yeah, everyone has a sob story, especially when you're online. So, I'm trying to explain to him. I'm like, listen, man, I get that you're in this vulnerable state, but these people are scamming you. They're ripping you off. They're telling you what you want to hear so that you will give them money. And it got worse. It got to the point where they were like, I need money for a bus ticket and I'll come see you. I need money for a train ticket, I'll come see you. I need money for an airplane ticket and I'll come see you. And in all of those instances, he gave them the money. And in all of those instances, guess what happened? I believe that apparently the bus broke down for the bus lady. The woman that supposedly took the train got robbed at the train station, and somebody broke her hand in the process of robbing her. And so that turned into a situation where the doctor messages him through wait, this is great. Through her Facebook profile. What fucking doctor takes somebody's Facebook profile and messages some random guy and gives a fucking and starts saying, you need to pay for this person's surgery before we do it? Is this real life? Like, how do you believe this? And then the one with the airline was, I missed the flight. They messed up. I missed the flight. It's like, yeah, you could just get another one. Well, of course that didn't happen. He even called the airline, and of course there was no record of any of that happening. The plane wasn't like broken down or something, so the person didn't miss the flight. It's just insane. And, for a while I was trying to talk him out of doing this stuff. I'm like, they're lying to you. These people aren't even real. I'm guessing most of them are men since you've never heard their voice before. They're probably like Nigerian scammers or something, because the way they type was very, not poor English, but not well enough to be fluent. And it was just beyond obvious. He's a little dense. And so all that's going on, and in the process of this, earlier in the year was when this was happening. My car died. Now, I've known this guy for 20-something years, maybe. Yeah, probably about that. And, you know, most of the time that I knew him, he was a decent guy. His family was pretty well off, and, you know, he always had, his father owned his own business, and he collected old classic cars, so they always had a lot of cars. You know, he grew up fixing cars, so I knew that he knew what he was doing in regards to, you know, keeping them maintained and repaired. And at the time, he had 2 cars himself, and he was thinking about getting rid of one. And so I needed a car. And it was sort of what felt like the perfect situation, because I was kind of hard up for money myself, so I didn't have too much to spend on a vehicle. And, you know, I kind of desperately needed one, not only for myself, but to help my family out. And so he sells me his car. And I think what he did with the money was pay back the almost like $2,000 in credit card debt that he racked up on these fake bitches. You know, whatever, do what you want with the money. But, you know, supposedly the car was good. I trusted him because, you know, he was into fixing them and whatnot. Yeah, this does sound like a good job, right? Easy money. And then it turns out, you know, he let the inspection lapse. And this is where things started to fall apart. But he's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's good. I'll call my guy that I know, and we'll get you inspected, and then I'll go and, you know, bring it to my garage, and we'll fix things up and whatnot. And it's, okay, sure, that sounds good. What are you doing, Scratch? I am telling the story about a friend of mine who not only gave money to internet scammers, but then went on to, well, you'll hear. He sold me a shit vehicle. So it comes to the day of the inspection, and sure enough, the guy that he made the appointment with says, you know, I'm not inspecting this car. I can't do it. It's like, the exhaust is way too loud, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, you know, he was supposed to patch that up. So I'm looking for my buddy for days, and like, oh yeah, we'll meet, blah, blah, blah. Never fucking meets me. It's getting to the point where, you know, need a vehicle. You know, people got to go to work, got to get to appointments and shit. And here he is messing with me, avoiding me, after selling me this car that I can't even get inspected and legally drive. And, you know, I contacted him. I was like, listen, man, where are you? You know, like, you've been avoiding me. You know what? I think I'm going to read you guys the conversation. I won't put it up on screen because it's obviously personal messages, but I will read it to you. What happened when I got fed up. Let's see. Trying to find the beginning of it. Apologies. Okay, so I said, I don't know what's going on, but do you just want to just do it tomorrow morning? And that was on the 13th of June. And then the next day, I still didn't hear anything. I said, so what's the plan here? All right, well, I just went out real quick, and the check engine light came on. Guess it's not getting inspected today. This has been nothing but a headache so far. He just messages me back, I said, I haven't taken it out other than to go to this business down the road and back. I said, so I stopped by your house, then I stopped by Lou's, and a cop followed. Oh, yeah, this is another part of the story. A cop followed me in and said the exhaust is too loud, and next time I'm getting a ticket. Lou said he won't inspect it with the exhaust like that either. How do we make this right? Then he says, hey, you there? I said, yeah, what's up? He goes, do you want to come up to the garage? I'll fix the exhaust and clear the code. I said, when? Now if you want. Yeah, I can. Hours and hours go by. I don't hear anything after I say, okay, yeah, that I can. I say, I don't know what's going on, but I have to say I'm pretty upset with this deal. Can't even drive it. That was my last bit of money at the time. I don't have anything left to put into it. Honestly, I think you should take it back because, quite frankly, this is bullshit. I trusted this, and now I regret it. He says, relax, give me a couple minutes, and we'll go up to the garage and take care of it. I said, no, I'm not going to relax because I've been let on for days, and there was no point since I can't do anything with it. Going to a dealership and getting something else, and I'll just, you know, put myself in more debt to do it. I'm done with this shit. I said, I did it your way, so now I'm doing it mine. There are two options here. You can take it back, or I just take it to the dealership, and they do whatever with it. I'll be doing it Monday. And he's like, oh, let's try to get it inspected. You still have time. This motherfucker's going to tell me I still have time when I've got real shit to do. I don't have time to, like, sit here and wait for this guy. So I said, it's not up to standard. And there was something wrong with the wheel on the passenger side. It was like, looked like it was leaning inward a little bit after a while. He says, I'll get it inspected. I said, you can't. Just because it's inspected doesn't mean it's good. Basically, what he was trying to do was he was trying to get somebody to illegally push it through inspection so that he could absolve himself of any wrongdoing here. He said, I sold it cheap. It's not that bad. It's a good car. He didn't sell it cheap. It was like $1,900 for like a 2000 Accord. He says, don't listen to the shit that people say at the shop. Yeah. Because the people at the shop told me that not only was it not going to get inspected for the exhaust, but also wheel bearings were bad. I said, I can't inspect it. Even your guy wouldn't do it. He told me to my face. I talked to him Thursday when the damn cop stopped me. He's like, yeah, no, I'm going to quiet the exhaust. The car's not a piece of shit. I said, well, apparently it's not legal. He's like, I did not lie or hide anything about the car. I said, okay, then take it back. My mind is made up. You know, he just sends dots. I said, I don't have the money to blow. He's like, bring the car to the garage. I said, I was supposed to do that the other day and yesterday and got blown off both times. He's like, I was at the garage all night. Stop making me feel like I scammed you. That's a good car. I said, well, like I said, you can have it back, or I'm just trading it toward the 2012 that I found at the dealership. I said, your choice, but I don't have time to be playing games to get it up to standard because I actually have stuff I need to take care of. Don't have all this money to just throw away. You know, I already got approved for the other car, and like now I'm out 1900. He's like, let me make a call. I'm on my way up there now, which is bullshit. You know, every time I went up there, he was never there. So I told you what I'm doing Monday. Already have the appointment and everything set. I'm not going to pass it up. He's like, well, I'm at the garage now if you want to come, if you change your mind. Whatever you decide, I hope you don't think bad of me. I tried to be as honest as I could. I was like, well, I hope you know that $1,900 was a lot for someone who doesn't have it at the time, and you took it and left me with something I can't use, regardless of whether you intended that or not. I explained my situation, and it just sucks because it's like, now I lost out. Then he says, oh, I'm sorry for everything. I hope it worked out a couple days later. I said, yeah, not all that great, to be honest, but I head over there that afternoon, and I said, if that's how you feel, why not make it right? You know, I showed him the engine code and what it needed and how it was going to cost, like, I don't know, I think like $400 or $500 to repair. Yeah, he's trying to sit here telling me it was like a $35 part. So then after that, I just stopped messaging. Don't hear from him until August, and that last conversation was June. He just sends, hey man, how you been? Like, as if nothing happened, right? As if absolutely nothing happened. Sorry guys, I'm like reading the messages on a different window, so I can't see the chat right away. I don't remember what the code was exactly. It had something to do with the exhaust system. I do remember that. So this dude just messages me like absolutely nothing happened. I should point out that the times when he was supposed to go to the garage, he instead did not do that because he was heavily drinking. You know, fair enough. He was probably depressed given his relationship situation and how he had, you know, been scammed so many times, but those are things that he allowed to happen to himself. So when he said, hey man, how you been? I just sent him a request for $1,900. I was being a bit of an asshole at this point because I was sick and tired of it. And then he says, what? And so I sent him the video clip of from Family Guy where Stewie, he says like, where's my money? Where's my money? And he like beats the shit out of Brian in a variety of different ways. Never messaged me after that. So then comes October 26th. I guess he didn't like my humor and it took him a while to get to me. So he says, hey, "Bud, how you been? If you still have the Accord, I'm thinking about buying it back." I said, "No, but I'll take the money." He's like, "Are you driving it? What money? Do you still feel like I ripped you off? What the heck is your problem? I didn't rip you off. I sold it to you cheap. I offered to fix shit for free. I didn't try to rip you off. You got a good feel." I think he said good fucking deal on it. "It's fucked up that you broke off the friendship for me trying to help." This is where I got, you don't, like, at this point, I lost my fucking mind. I was so pissed that I was ready to just drive down to this dude's house and, like, whatever happened, happened. So I'm like, more like, what's your problem, you fucking faggot? It's fucked up that you said it was fine and it wasn't. It's like, yeah, you really helped me end up $2,000 in the hole. You want someone to blame your fucking self. I don't know what planet you live on, but a car that you can't legally drive is a fucking ripoff. It's a dealership. If a dealership did that, they'd be in trouble, so continue to pretend. He's like, "Where's the car now? I could have fixed whatever was wrong if you didn't flip out and made it right. Because I care, and I give a shit because you are or were my friend. Please don't burn this bridge, man. I'm offering to buy the car back and reimburse you if you put money into it. So you have the car, or did you trade it in?" I said, "This makes no damn sense. I didn't flip the fuck out for no reason. I waited for days for you, and you blew me off until the last minute." He's like, "Oh, it needed a $40 part to get the check engine light off to pass inspection." I said, "Well, then I offered you to take it back, and you didn't. So why do this now? It's too late. I'm getting pissed off, and I don't need this shit. I didn't burn the bridge. I came to you when shit was wrong, and you didn't make it right then. If that's not how you see it, I don't know what to tell you." And then he says, "Okay, I'll be honest. I'm also looking for a car, and he says hate the Accord. So I was seeing if you don't want to drive it anymore." That doesn't make any sense. I'm guessing he's retarded and can't type. He says, "I offered to fix it, the thing with the estimate that you sent me." I said, "No, it's gone. I had to trade it in because I didn't have any other option." "Yeah, but you knew that the light was turning on. There's no way it wouldn't have come on when you were driving it, and the inspection was up for you for months. I don't know what's wrong with you, but that's not how you used to take care of your stuff." And then the two other places that I went said the wheel bearings were no good. They're not all going to lie to me for extra work. Because look, fair enough, I am willing to believe that, okay, maybe one place might try to, like, push somebody that's not very mechanically inclined into doing a little bit extra work to skim a little off the top, but not more than one place. Come on. He's like, "Oh, that's weird because I put the new ones on with all the suspension stuff. You didn't happen to go to Monroe, did you?" He's like, "Okay, well, Accord aside, hope we can still have a friendship. Maybe down the road when something needs repair on your current car, I can do the repair and save on labor costs." Like, you think there's any fucking way I'm going to let an alcoholic work on my car when you got to be out of your mind. So the last thing I said to him was, "That doesn't change the fact that I'm out $1,400, and he never replied. So the friendship was over. This dude, like, I just, it blows my mind that he didn't seem to understand what he had done. He's good for it, bro. Yeah, so, you know, friendship over. And I was just kind of reminded of that situation just because a lot of the streams that have been going on lately, there was a thing with Andy and he was talking about he kind of got screwed over by some friends. I was just talking about a friend of mine that I had known for, you know, 20-something years. We didn't hang out always consistently over those 20-something years, but we never had, like, any kind of falling out. And so, yeah, so that was the end of that. But I just thought it was funny because it's like, here I was telling this dude, like, trying to help him out because all these people were scamming him. And then he turns around and fucking scams me. It's unbelievable. Friendship, am I right? I just thought it'd be like a funny little story to share because it's something that, you know what's funny about this? What's funny about it is his name is actually Chris. Oh, of course, I'll only give you his first name, but it's just ironic. My uncle tried to sell me a house that wasn't his. Holy fuck. Now, who's your uncle? Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop 2? That's hilarious. Yeah, it was just a shit show, and there's not much to do about it. But really, in my view, You know, at that point, the only way that somebody could repair a friendship like that is to give the money back. Because here you are acting like, oh, you know, oh, the friendship, it should overcome everything. All right, well, you put that check for $1,400 in my hand, and I'll consider the friendship, okay? Like, show me you really care in the form of compensation. That money was gone the day you bought the car. Yeah, I agree. He probably paid the credit card, or instead just fucking bought more iTunes cards for fake internet bitches. Yeah, hey Nora, what's up? Give me your money, friend. Yeah, and you know what? It's fucking hilarious because, like, the financial disparity between us two is just ridiculous. Like, he has a family that, you know, is super well off that he can fall back on and, like, dig him out of any hole. So he's never really in any danger of, you know, ending up on the street or something like that. But me, I don't have that. You know, like, I have caring people in my life that would help me out in any way that they can. But they simply just don't have the same level of means. So it's kind of fucked up. Oh, Nora, I just finished a story about how this friend that I was helping out, who was being scammed by internet frauds, who were pretending to want to date him, ended up screwing me over later on by selling me a piece of shit car. And then, no, not $14K. It was $1,400. It was actually $1,900, but when I traded the car in, they gave me $500 towards the new car. So I considered it like, all right, I'll even be that nice and just say you owe me $1,400 since I got $500 out of it. I'm sure the guy's family knows he's an idiot scumbag. Yeah, well, I guess things change. He was never like that before. You know, I had known him for a long time. So now that that's out of the way, and we have some more viewers in here. Yeah, friendship definitely dead. Over to the point of no return, probably. But I just got so fucking pissed off when he tried to turn it around on me and make it sound like I was the one that ended the friendship. It's like, no, dude, do you realize that when you fuck somebody over, that kind of puts a damper on things? But hey, let's talk about the fucking... Yes, that is the very same Nora. Let's talk about the offensive jokes and the people that who are so, you know, pro free speech and pro offensive joke and the ability to say whatever you want without being deplatformed and censored, suddenly turning around and changing their minds when they get offended. And the thing that really drives me crazy about it is the complete fucking lack of self-awareness, where these guys built their careers on criticizing the so-called SJWs about being anti-free speech and, you know, having no sense of humor and getting offended over every little joke. Well, what happens when it happens to them? What happens when somebody says something offensive to them? Now, whether you agree with, you know, Ralph's joke or not, that's not the point. The point is, they've become exactly what they hate. They've become exactly what they built their careers speaking out against. They have completely flip-flopped on their so-called principles based on the very same moral outrage that they accuse others of all the time. It's complete and utter hypocrisy. And while being a hypocrite doesn't necessarily make you wrong, when it comes to, you know, principles and freedom of speech and all that, I really can't take you seriously when you don't practice what you preach. You know, if a lot of people, they listen to someone and they kind of prop them up as this figurehead and the person that speaks for them and, you know, spreads their principles to the world. I don't need that. I can fucking talk for myself. It's just, it's mind-blowing to me how people will follow them and just not understand that they're guilty of the same shit. And by the way, I see people all day on Twitter, leave family out of it. How could you go there? What did Sargon do weeks and weeks ago? And Ralph didn't really go off on him as much as he could have. He said some crazy shit and made sort of this weird, creepy comment like, oh, I'm going to go find your wife. Maybe I'll hit her up. You know how I like the ladies. What the fuck is that? Now, look, you can say that he's not serious about it. And sure, maybe he's not serious about it. But isn't that going after family? Isn't that taking it to the next level? Isn't that going where they say you're not allowed to go? I mean, you started to walk in the shit. You can't be surprised when somebody dives in after you and, tackles you and rolls around in there with you. That's what happens. You can't be the aggressor and the victim. I actually was considering naming the stream It's Okay When We Do It. Yeah, it's just, it drives me up the wall that these are the people that are kind of like respected. Now, granted, a lot of people are kind of seeing through their bullshit these days. Hey man, happy to see you here. More viewers here at YouTube. I think I've been getting more here. Obviously I have more subscribers on YouTube, but I can't stream on my main channel yet, so I don't know how that would work comparatively. When I get the main channel back, I may try to do like a simulcast and then try to, little by little, convince more people to come over from the main channel. The comment to Nora should be considered a threat. On the other hand, can't kill a baby when it's already dead. Oh, fuck. Well, you do have a point there. Yeah, you definitely have a point there. I'll continue the game stream another night. Here you can say nigger and kike without fear or scratch. Yeah, he tried so hard to offend and even scare us, but there's nothing scary about that rejected Teletubby. You are funny when you go off on Twitter on people. It's just like all these little cowards want to put their 2 cents in. Nobody said shit when Sargon did that. And like, okay, maybe you could argue, oh, well, they didn't know about it. Fine, for whatever. But let me just pull up an example of what I'm talking about. And it's a guy who, I think is a total idiot anyway. Let me see if... Oh, wait, why the hell? I'll take care of this. One moment. What's going on here? Oh. There we go. Oh, good old OBS. Why do you do this to me? Okay, there we go. Oh, did it crash? Maybe try refreshing. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. My internet's fine. Huh. Well, anyway. So, I don't know how many of you guys know who this dude is. First of all, this guy's dumb. He has the dumbest username. Hi, I think I'm real. No, you're not fucking real. You're a fake. You're a fraud, just like all the rest of them. He says, can we be adults for a moment? This is one of the most heinous, aberrant, and horrific things I've ever seen anyone say. I regret ever demonstrating support for this man or the plight of his channel, and I rescind that report immediately. Now, this is the shit. This is the exact thing that I'm talking about, okay? Now, you can think that the comment was fucked up, okay? Even if you look at Ralph's feed, he himself said, yeah, that was fucked up. Nobody's denying that. But what I find interesting is that he's basing his support for freedom of speech, for being against deplatforming, based on moral outrage, which is the exact same shit that the left, that they speak out against, does to them. But yet when it happens to them, It's a fucking travesty. We need hashtag movements. We need media coverage. We need video support from my community. But all over an edgy comment. Oh, you said something offensive? Well, I rescind my support for you. You can simultaneously acknowledge a joke is messed up or edgy and still defend somebody's right to have an audience, a platform to make that joke, an ability to make their living, their livelihood. Now, what's more important here? Somebody making an offensive joke or their ability to laugh, or not only laugh, but make money and live in society. If you ostracize everybody that says offensive things and you just base that on like an arbitrary line of, well, I take freedom of speech away as soon as my feelings are hurt. Honestly, I don't really care about it either. I'm just trying to say that it's fine if you didn't laugh. It's fine if you don't like the joke. It's fine if you think, oh, well, okay, maybe that was a little too far. But to say that then that means this person deserves all of this shit over that joke. This person deserves me to flip-flop on my principles because of that joke. That's fucked. And it just goes to show that you don't really stand for what you stand for. Because if you don't protect the things that are most offensive, then you don't really believe in what you're saying. And the reason why you need to defend the worst of the worst words is because, which, by the way, I don't even think this is the worst of the worst. I'm just saying for the sake of argument. The reason for that is because, as we've seen, it's very, very easy to move the bar for what constitutes offensive. And at that point, you're really taking away everybody's right to say what they want. Again, react to it as you will. Criticize as you will. I think Stream Me is having problems. Here I am typing in the chat. Yeah, so I can't get behind this. I can't get behind all of this faux outrage. And one of the main reasons why is Sargon himself said on that stream, said on the kill stream last night, there's not, and this was basically word for word, there's not a sentence you can structure in the English language that would offend me. Now, whether or not you want to believe that he was just kind of, you know, being a tough guy and trying to be strong and hurting on the inside by it, or he was actually not offended, either way, he claims he's not offended. So why are all these people getting offended on his behalf? This is the same shit, again, with the so-called social justice people that want to get offended on behalf of all of these minority groups. And, oh, my LGBT and all that shit. It's absolutely no different. They have no true foundation for their principles. And that's why I am sick and tired of this shit where people want to prop these guys up as like these very important and respectable spokespeople on these big issues. I met Sargon in London and all he did was cry about Kevin Logan. I shit you not, 2 hours of Kevin Logan. Oh my God. 5 minutes of Kevin Logan is more than I can take. All white guilt people do that shit. They just want an excuse to be offended. They want an enemy attack and call the bad guys. Yeah, but listen, I mean, I agree completely. But it's so stupid that you need to make an enemy out of somebody over offensive comments Like, there's more important issues. It's not illegal to do that. This one falls in the middle for me. I hate Sargon, so I don't care how badly he's insulted, but at the same time, making abortion jokes is also attacking his wife and is generally out about its topic. Too close to call who's wrong. Generally speaking, I agree with you that, you know, the family stuff should stay out of it. But if we're being fair, he brought family into it first, and then you can say, oh, okay, well, now we're just doing this, you first and whatnot. But honestly, I think it's, you know, it's punch for punch. Why let somebody insult you in a specific way and then act like you have to have this set of rules where it's like, well, you did that, but I can't. It's like, if somebody insults you or goes after your family, of course you're going to want to hurt them back in some way. But as for the whole Sargon thing, while I do think that there's a lot of things that, you know, he's obviously a bit hypocritical on, I personally don't feel like I've seen enough evidence yet to specifically, like, personally implicate him in the Wall Street Journal thing. And I think one of the reasons for that is, like, they would probably consider him an enemy too. Now, I think it was completely wrong to retweet that post from that Medicare Groom account, or whatever it was called, Medicare Groomer or whatever, that had the FBI tagged, it had Wall Street Journal tagged, it had Andy and Ralph tagged, and it had this offensive super chat, and they were trying to, like, basically tattle to these organizations about this commentary. So, had the post just been, you know, basically the same thing without the fucking, without tagging in those organizations, you could say, all right, well, it's fucking stupid that he's posting this and, like, laughing about the deplatforming, but having those organizations tagged and then reposting that makes it a little bit more malicious. So now, Sargon, you idiot, even if he wasn't directly involved, now there's always that doubt cast because he didn't do himself any favors by going and reposting that to be edgy and piss people off. And our sound is gone again. Is this fucking real life? Okay, now we're back again. Damn. I don't know what's going on with this website tonight, but that sucks. It's kind of pissing me off. It's like every time I get going, it cuts out. But yeah, like I said, he didn't do himself any favors by reposting that, and it's going to cast doubt for people where there's already bad blood, obviously. This is real life. Sadly, it's real life. I can't believe this shit. I'll let you know, Scratch point. Okay, well, Scratch is very good at scraping the grease claws of the Hebrew. Every stream is fucking up right now. Oh, shit. Well, that sucks. So, yeah, I mean, look, obviously, if he didn't find it offensive himself, which he's claiming he didn't, why even bother with all this? It's just stupid. To me, this is a distraction. All this moral outrage, all this moral posturing, it's a distraction from the real issue. And the real issue is the deplatforming. The real issue is going after people's livelihoods over offensive jokes, over super chat comments. What kind of world do we live in where super chat comments are news? I know I've said that a couple of times now, but it really, really just blows my mind that is considered important enough to be covered by a mainstream publication, and they want to act like this is a real problem, a real life problem that apparently has some sort of major effect on the very fabric of society. We'll get in contact with the Stream Me team to let them know. Okay, cool. How does the amount of time said make it worse? To quote a famous philosopher, forgiveness is divine, but never pay for late pizza. The internet going mainstream was a mistake, to be honest. A lot of things going mainstream were a mistake. The same thing has happened with video games, with anime, you know, all that entertainment, comics. People have lost their jobs for way less. They make getting people fired their full-time job. And I think it's just stupid. It's so stupid that that's the go-to now. They want to destroy people's lives over the smallest things. Things that are most of the time completely unrelated to the job. Worski flagging and organizing raids is problematic. It's going to end bad for a lot of channels. So I think that the whole flagging thing, that just needs to stop across the board, honestly. Definitely, you know, it's just bad all around. WSJC's content creators like Ralph is a threat to their business. It makes sense that they would attack. Yeah, but, I mean, is it really a threat? Like, it's still small enough that it's sort of this self-contained community. Again, you know, not really a fan of the community terminology, but for lack of a better term. Considering the events, the continued back and forth, it's not like the other side isn't saying shit as well, so I don't see that stuff being off the table either. Oh, wait, let me see. I missed it. It makes a difference if you get in a fight with someone and say, I hate you in the heat of the moment, but would you keep saying it? I remember the first time I saw it happen with the scientist dude who wore a shirt with those ladies on it. I remember how bad the media treated him. Guess I was naive that I didn't think it would come to this. Oh yeah, the guy that landed the what was it, the satellite thing or something like that, or I don't even know what it was. He landed something on a comet, and then instead of being concerned with the historical moment and the great work of that guy, Matt Taylor, they instead wanted to focus on a shirt that he was wearing that had what they said sexist depictions of women. And the funny thing about that is, of course, it comes to be that a woman made the shirt for him, and so since it was a gift from her, a friend of his, he wore it on that day. And it, kind of to show off her work. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she made clothing for people. So what better way? What better way to show off, somebody's handiwork than by having it in a place where everybody can see it? Apparently, I've just reached 666 followers. I just wanted to point that out. This is now a satanic channel, apparently. He shouldn't have apologized. That was a cuck move. Yeah, but I agree. I agree he shouldn't apologize. He shouldn't have apologized. None of these people should ever apologize to these fucks. But unfortunately, the so-called everyday citizen, the normal person, is more than likely most of the time going to do that because they obviously don't want to hurt people. Most people don't want to hurt people. But I feel like so much of this is just fucking emotional manipulation. Did you see what time Harmful Opinions had some accounts nuked? Oh, I remember back when, you talking about back when the Candid shit happened and then like everybody got on him? If I win a science reward, I'm going to wear a It's Okay to Be White shirt to fuck with everyone's head. I want to see that. I definitely want to see that. If you start apologizing, you will never be able to stop. Yeah, that is true. They're just going to keep manipulating you. You're showing them a point of weakness, and like vultures, they're going to swoop in. There's no stopping at that point. It's a whole other level of pathetic. You shouldn't give these people what they want because they don't care about anything but themselves. They just care about like pats on the back, making themselves feel like heroes. Because all of the things that they call other people out for you'll notice that whenever, again, this goes into the territory of it's okay when I do it, you'll notice that they do the very same things and they always justify it by saying, oh, well, this person is, it's a Nazi or a racist or a sexist. And then as a result of putting that label on them, they believe they can treat them in any way, and it's justified because, well, wait a minute. Somebody just fucking unfollowed just to get me back down to 666. That was kind of funny. Skeptics do to Ralph what they did to Harmful Opinions. Yeah, it's like this, it's the unpersoning shit. That's okay. I don't mind morbid dolls. We had it for a time. Ralph doesn't have a weakness because he's a decent dude. They can punch, but they can never take it. I've been saying that for so long, especially when it comes to the so-called skeptic guys. They're always the critics, but they never want to hear any criticism. They never want to believe that they have done anything wrong. They're always right. They're always rational. They're always intellectual. And it's such garbage. I'm the most popular streamer right now. Thank you. I wasn't expecting that. Oh yeah, I'm moving up the rank on the top 30 leaderboard there. I think I was in 17th place last time I looked, I was impressed by it. I thought it was surprising. I definitely wasn't even expecting to be on the list, but that's pretty cool. Well, I mean, look, I don't claim to be a voice of reason of any of those things, but I'm thankful that people feel that way. I really just kind of throw my 2 cents out there, and it is what it is. Sometimes people agree with that, and sometimes there is a backlash. And, it's actually kind of funny because when it comes to the whole skeptic thing, I had made videos years ago before it was... And I hate to even say this because it makes you sound like all hipster-like. But I had made videos years before it was acceptable to criticize that side of YouTube. And the responses that I would always get to that were very, very interesting. It was always like team sports. Like they expected you that because you criticized some social justice bullshit at some point, that you would never ever go and criticize one of their sacred cows that they agreed with. And just because people hold, maybe similar ideas towards a specific ideology doesn't mean that you have to agree with them on everything. And I'm certainly not going to treat some stupid ass YouTubers that, thank you, Nora. These YouTubers that I'm like told that I have to respect. Why? Why do I have to respect them? Because they have a high sub count? Because people nod in agreement and prop them up as these gods? That's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. It's nice, Scratch Point, because you give an opinion, I don't have to hear yelling. Even though Ralph yelling then laughing is hilarious. He might have missed. I don't do the yelling often, but there was the one stream. It was when I was still on YouTube. I was talking to this dude about Goblin Slayer, and it was like 2 hours. This motherfucker dragged this on. He had a problem with my video or some shit, and after a while, like towards the end, one of my buddies came on, Necro. He was talking to him. And towards the end, I just ended up like kind of losing it because he wouldn't show what I supposedly said wrong in the video. And he basically just like came and wasted our time, and then accused us of wasting his time. It was pretty funny. I thought it was funny. I have to admit, sometimes I like a good yell. I like a good just tearing into someone. It's kind of fun. It's therapeutic. But when it's deserved, That's what late-term abortions are for. Yeah. This is Rape is not a good way to set tone. That was the argument. Even though their reaction to it, like I said, their fucking reaction to it proved why rape was the good way to set tone. They were offended. They were disturbed. That's exactly the intention. Found this randomly because I randomly followed Scratch. No regrets. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. He switched his name from Moobles to Goblin Slayer Critic 69. Yeah, he thought that shit was edgy. Just tweeted something at you. Something you'd like to explain? Oh, really? Let me see. Hold up. I gotta make sure I got the browser thing set right. What did you tweet at me? What's your username on Twitter? I'm going all like dead air. I don't yell at anyone except Ralph, Sedan, and Gator. They deserve it. Quit yelling. They deserve beatings. Gonna watch Goblin Slayer now. I just find the D&D parody angle interesting. It is an interesting show. Like, it's not the best thing ever, but you know, I think it's good. It serves a purpose. Everybody's sending me like these fucking 666 follower things. Oh, because you're not the only person that did it. Cody sent me one. You sent me one. Yeah. Is that Chrono Trigger up there? Yeah, it's it's a Chrono Trigger meme that I put together. You know, takes a lot of talent to put one of those together. Got to show it off. Yeah, I'm gonna go actually wrap this up in a couple minutes here. And I'm going to go tune into Killstream myself. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish last night's stream. I was like multitasking, so I absorbed some of it, but then a little bit was, you know, kind of went over my head. Oh, shit. More problems. Goblin Slayer is the best thing ever, but the anime is absolute garbage. Read the novels. Yeah, I'm gonna get my hands on those. I was reading the manga, and I thought that was pretty good too. Reading is for nerds. I do quite a bit of reading, so I'm okay with that. I love Chrono Trigger, one of the best RPGs of all time. Oh, well, that is an opinion that I can get behind. I completely agree. It's like, it's in the top 3 for me. I always have a hard time picking a number 1 favorite. So for me, I'm always like, all right, you know, Chrono Trigger, probably Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI. Those are probably like my top 3 games of all time. Not necessarily just because they're what I grew up with, but because they're games that I can always go back to and enjoy them just the same as I did the first time that I played them. So, see, I haven't played Suikoden. It's one of those games that I always wanted to get into, but never was able to get a copy. The biggest room in my house is going to be a library, but no manga or comics in my beautiful library. Oh, come on. At least one. You don't want to see my bookshelf, then. You'd probably shame me. I farmed that new for hours. Yeah, you learn the techniques so much faster that way. Dragon Quest V... Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI. See, that's why I have such a hard time picking favorites, because Dragon Quest V is fucking amazing, too. Chrono Trigger is a game I discovered as a young adult, and I was blown away by it. Suikoden. Sure. I thought that's what I said, but maybe it's not. Berserk manga on hiatus. Doesn't that go on hiatus a lot? I filled my library with copies of Mein Kampf. Real mundane Matt. You bastard. All right, guys. It's been fun. That was the short stream for the evening. Appreciate all you coming out. Appreciate the follows. Definitely appreciate you getting me into the number 1 slot. It's different. But, again, how's the day on shit? Well, you see, you're doing your show in about 15 minutes. That's why I was heading out. Next time, if you get here early, I'll pull you in or something. Unless well, I was gonna say if you have a few minutes now, but I see it's getting pretty close. All right. On that note, thank you everybody. Thank you for the new follows. Thank you for the follows over all the past few days. Much appreciated, and I will see you next stream. Make sure you have your notifications turned on and whatnot. Take it easy, everybody.